Hi, Michael Fry, President and CEO of Deepwater Subsea. In this episode of The Daily Grind, we talk about change and how change is sometimes a good thing, but even more, change can be very easy if you just take action. Let's get into the show. Are you willing to change the person you are today to become successful? That's the question I have for you. The reason I mention that is there's a lot of times in life and in business, you have to change the things that you do if you want to be successful. You have to kind of step outside the box, step outside your comfort zone to move ahead. And people always say, oh, gee, change is difficult. And actually, no, it's not. And the reason I mention that is, if you went to the doctor today and the doctor said, hey, if you don't do or if you don't stop doing X, Y, and Z, you're going to get sick and potentially die. Would you change? Odds are the answer is yes. And it could be something you've done your whole life. You could be a smoker, you could be a drinker, you could be someone who just loves sweets and says, hey, if you don't stop doing this, you're going to become a diabetic. We're going to have all these issues. You either make the decision to change or you make the decision to continue down that path and basically fail at the end of the day. So for this daily grind, what I want you to think about is, are you willing to change to become successful? Are you willing to change to get back in the industry? A lot of people talk about the daily grind. They say, hey, look, love the message, love the motivation, love the things that you talk about. And for me, it's stepping outside a comfort zone of being serious all the time. I see a lot of people who are like, oh, you're so focused and so this and this and this. And it's like, well, yeah, it's kind of a serious topic. Now, am I playful? Yeah, I'm extremely playful. Can I be funny? Yeah, I can be very funny. But the challenge is, if I want to move up in the marketplace, if I want to start gaining more market share, I have to do things that are outside my comfort zone. And if I'm not willing to change, then the business can't be successful. When I was moving up in my career, I had a director say, hey, look, and I've told this story before, I want you to take this new role. However, this role is not in subsea. That change at first was very difficult, the thought of the change. And the reason for that is it wasn't my core demographic. It wasn't my niche that I was doing. But what he told me was, look, if you don't do this, you're not going to progress in your career. So I got a call on a Friday night and said, hey, do you want this position? And it was like, yeah, I guess. If that's what it's going to take to get to the next level, then let's do it. Let's go for it. And it was one of the best decisions that I ever made in my career. So my question for you for this daily grind, are you willing to change to become successful? That's a question that only you can answer. But the important thing is, change is easy if you're willing to do it. Change is easy if you know that your life depends on it. It's just how much do you want to change and how willing are you to go about doing that? Smokers know that over time, they could die from lung cancer. They could die from all these issues from it. And some people are just willing to deal with that. And however, I see these commercials all the time on TV, and it's like, oh, if I would have just stopped 40 years ago. And it's like, yeah, you had a decision to make whether or not you wanted to change. And this isn't about smoking and drinking. It's about your willingness to do the things you need to do to basically survive, to get to the next level, to get back in the game. One of our team members gave me a call the other day and says, hey, you know what? This is something to talk about for the daily grind. There was a subsea guy who, out of the industry at the moment, took I believe he took his trailer in to get some work done on it, and the guy said, hey, look, we have positions open for a mechanic. And the guy said, you know what? Hell yeah, I'll take it. And I'll take it because I have to do what I need to do to get back in the game. Change the lifestyle. I see it a lot. Guys aren't willing to get rid of that Corvette. They're not really willing to get rid of that big house. And sometimes when you're in that mode of desperation, you have to do the things you need to do. They're just materialistic things. You can buy them back when the industry comes back. But you have to be willing to change, and you have to be willing to do the things you need to do to get back to the next level and to be successful. The question is that something you're willing to do? Something to think about.